The second beta for 13Z, the Zodiac Trials, gave me a good look at what this upcoming co-op roguelike has to offer. With fast-paced combat, stylish movement, and a deep progression system, 13Z has a solid foundation. However, after spending time with it, I also found some areas that need refinement to fully realize the game's potential. From the moment I jumped into 13Z, the art direction and aesthetics stood out. The game's vibrant, stylized look is appealing, and the overall presentation makes a strong first impression. However, while the game looks great, the animations lack impact. Movement, particularly jumping, feels too floaty, making platforming less satisfying than it could be. This same issue extends into combat, where attacks don't feel as weighty or forceful as they should. A game like this thrives on moment-to-moment feedback, and right now, SAR 13Z could use some improvements in how attacks and movement are animated. Performance was mostly smooth during my playthrough. The frame rate was stable for the most part, though I did experience occasional dips. Nothing game-breaking, but something that might need further optimization. Combat is one of 13Z's biggest draws, and while the mechanics are fun, there are some key elements that prevent it from reaching its full potential. The biggest issue is a lack of hitstop and hitstun. For those unfamiliar, hitstop is the slight pause when an attack lands, making every hit feel more impactful. Hitstun is when enemies react to attacks, preventing them from immediately retaliating. Right now, neither is strongly implemented in 13Z. Attacks don't feel powerful, and enemies often shrug off hits without proper reaction. This makes fights feel less dynamic, as the feedback from landing blows isn't as satisfying as it should be. Despite the issues with combat feel, 13Z nails the roguelike progression. The elemental bonuses and power-ups you gain as you progress add a lot of variety to each run, giving you plenty of ways to experiment with different builds. This keeps gameplay fresh, rewarding players who adapt to the perks they acquire. One standout feature is the fox transformation when dashing, which instantly reminded me of Panther mode in Bayonetta 2. It's a small detail, but it enhances movement fluidity and adds a stylish flair to traversal. While 13Z takes some inspiration from Devil May Cry, I found the combat flow to feel more like Kingdom Hearts, fast and fluid, but lacking the precise weight of DMC's combat system. 13Z also introduces a parry and counter system, but right now it feels too forgiving. As long as an enemy attack registers in the game, you can trigger a counter even if they aren't directly next to you. This makes it exploitable, allowing players to parry in situations where they probably shouldn't be able to. Once again, hitstop and hitstun could help here. Adding these mechanics would make counters feel more precise and rewarding, rather than something that can be triggered too easily. After playing the beta, I can confidently say that 13Z, the Zodiac Trials, has a strong foundation. The art direction, roguelike progression, and movement system are definite highlights. However, combat needs refinement. Attacks lack impact, enemies don't react enough, and the counter system feels too lenient. I played the game solo, but I think 13Z would be even more enjoyable with friends. Co-op roguelikes are still a relatively rare niche, and 13Z could stand out if the final version refines its mechanics. If the developers can polish the animations, improve combat feedback, and fine-tune defensive mechanics, 13Z, the Zodiac Trials, could turn into a fantastic roguelike action game. It's already fun, but with the right tweaks, it could be something truly special. If you enjoyed this preview, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more in-depth game coverage. And let me know in the comments, have you played the beta? What are your thoughts on 13Z? Stay tuned to Rushdown Radio, where we punch up, not down.